Hi. Hi, Andy. Thanks for letting me interview you. My name's Louise.
How you doing? Thanks a million for taking the time.
I'm just here to ask you some questions about your career and
Perfect.
what GAA means to you.
Brilliant.
I'd like to ask you, what's your first memory of playing Gaelic football?
My first memory, I suppose, was going up to the pitch in Balladreen. It's we lived on one side of the town and the pitch was the other side, so we used to always cycle up. We had a really great coach, a guy called the name Brian Tansey, who made it really kind of fun for us. And remember my brother bringing me up and just kind of playing. What we used to do, we used to go to 9 o'clock mass in the convent, come home, get our gear, and then we used to go up to the pitch afterwards for 11 o'clock training. So I don't really remember the kind of session, but I remember being really excited by going. I remember cycling, I remember who was there, but the bits and pieces in between. My first memory of a match then was in Castlereagh, under 10 match, where I played corner forward. I was 7 playing the under 10 team, and that's kind of my first kind of real kind of recollection of playing the game.
Okay, and what would you consider one of your biggest achievements at club or inter-county level?
My biggest achievement would definitely have been playing for Mayo, just in general playing for Mayo. So I wasn't the best kid playing sport. I was always good, but I was probably more of a soccer player than I was a Gaelic player. There was always guys who were always better than me for the club, but in 2003 got the call to go and play senior, and have been there, I suppose, up to the end of this year. But it's biggest achievement to just playing, keeping myself fit, and I suppose keeping myself kind of relevant to the team that I was good enough to play. I always say, in terms of natural attributes like speed, size, all the, I suppose, what people look at, good hands, various things like that good kicking, I'd be average in all of them, but I found a way of being competitive, and it worked out all right for me.
Okay, what would you consider one of your lowest points of GAA, and how did you bring yourself back up from that?
Yeah, so you have the injuries, but I always kind of, like, when I got injured, it was really tough. I was captain of the team, and they were really low points. But it's when your performance levels aren't great. I remember in 2008 like playing really poorly in a game in Croke Park, and thinking that my inter-county career could be finished, thinking maybe I'm not good enough to play this, and to me they'd have always been the lowest points. The injuries, once you get injured, you usually get kind of reflective about them, and you say, listen, I'm getting better. And once you get the operation done, you usually get better from that day on in terms of small little improvements. So there's always a kind of a good thing going on there in your head, where when you play poorly and you can't get playing then again from the next February, that period between, I suppose, August, September and the next January, February is a really tough time. And I remember in 2008, between 2008 and 2009, I found that really, really tough period in my career.
What would be your match day prep, like your diet or in your training?
That has changed hugely in over the years. I'd have been always kind of the one to be kind of first there at training, just getting myself right, making sure I didn't get injured, little things like that. But I found later on in my career that didn't work for me. I didn't have enough time. We ran our own businesses. All of a sudden, babies started coming in terms of myself and Jenny having Charlotte, and it got more difficult. So I usually, before training, if training was at 7:30, I'd be there at 6 o'clock, which used to be 5:30, 5:15, but it was now 6 o'clock, 6:15. Go in, get my prep done, go out, get my shots in, and then away I go and train. Not overly think about it, but always have a kind of a plan when I go training. So if I went, I'd be thinking, right, I need to win ball tonight, or I need to turn like in a certain way, or I want to shoot off my left foot. I'd always have a little plan where we're going. So I'd always have that in training. In a match, I'd be a really good fella for writing in a notebook and a diary, and so I'd always have my plan kind of written out, what I'd like to achieve in the game, so that in terms of little goals or standards, or what I'd like to feel when I came off the field. So if I achieved them, I'd be very I'd be very happy with myself. Going into the match, then you'd have the headphones in, listen to a few songs going in on the bus, but I'd be usually very kind of relaxed going into a match. Try to have fun with the guys, try to have a bit of a laugh on the bus on the way in. Where other guys like to keep themselves, I kind of like to be talking, kind of chattering, and Good. I'd usually get my nerves for a game, bringing it back. Actually, I'd usually get my nerves on Wednesday, Thursday. But then that's where the notebook used to help me, because I used to just write down, this is the way it's going to feel. What's the worst that can happen? When I come home, my wife, my kids are still going to be there for me when I come home. It's not going to make that big of a deal. So then by Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'll be really relaxed going into the game.
Okay, good. Is there anything particularly like mentality-wise you would do to prepare yourself? Like, is there anything like you'd say to yourself or do, like, for your mental health?
Yeah, all the time. I'd be the first to admit I used to care way too much about football. Like, as in terms of, it meant way too much to me. So, like, the defeat would be the end of the world. I'd be too excited when we used to win. I'm not even sure I used to enjoy winning. I used to just, because the pressure then used to be on for the next game, so you didn't really get the chance to enjoy winning. Definitely cared too much about what other people thought of me. But once I got out of that habit, and once I kind of got a bit freer in my thoughts, so like people always say it's the next ball. I wouldn't say it's the next ball. I would say this has happened. Now I just need to concentrate on now. So I'd always try to focus on what's happening in the field, where should I be standing, what can I do, who's facing me. So sometimes you put too much emphasis on the person you're marking, and you give them a bit too much respect. Sometimes you don't give them enough respect, and at the end of the day they don't really matter, because if you do your own job you'll do quite well. So it took me a long time in my career to realise that, but once I realised that Croke Park is just a pitch, I'm standing here, I'm playing in front of 80,000 people, that's fine, it doesn't make any difference. There's 2 goalposts, I'm playing against an opponent. Then all of a sudden my thoughts started getting freer. So yeah, it's just about just freeing up your mind and just playing the game.
What would you say it's like to play on Croke Park?
Jeez, I led that question in nicely for you, didn't I? I think it's the most amazing place to play football. Like, I remember going to a concert. I used to always get nervous playing in Croke Park in terms of just playing. I remember going to a concert. My wife Jennifer, she dragged me to the Take That concert. I wouldn't be a great concert going. I'm not slagging Take That, but she slagged me to the Take That concert. I remember just watching. There's a guy in the band called Mark Owen, and he's like a bit of a cheeky chappy, bit of a character, but he was having the time of his life. I remember just looking at him thinking, he's singing in front of 80,000 people here, and he's just having fun. Like, so I just said to myself, I said, the next time I get here, this is going to be fun, and I said I'm going to make it fun. So I get myself kind of into the mantra is, when I get to Croke Park I need to show off. So I try to show off, and I just try to have as much fun as possible, and I think the 80,000 people just make it better.
Can you hear the noise when you're playing in stadium, and does it affect you positively or negatively?
Croke Park is easier because you can't hear actually talking, so you can't hear actually what the crowd is saying. All you can hear is kind of a buzz. Yeah, it's kind of like ooh, that's what you can hear, and you can just hear when the noise levels go up, and you can hear when the noise levels come down. Where in McHale Park and Hyde Park and Markovich and these places, you can actually hear what people are saying. So Croke Park actually makes, if you can block it out, Croke Park actually makes it easier.
Okay. After losing a big match, how would you pick yourself up? Like, how would you keep going?
Yeah, again, earlier on in my career, I suppose before I was 30, I found that really difficult because I thought it was the end of the world. But I think, particularly from being from Mayo, we get over kind of excited either way. At the end of the day, I look at it as football, and if you come off the pitch like we did in 2017 and you've given it everything you've got and you're not good enough, you don't win the game, there's actually nothing else you can do. So I just basically look at it now as a situation where it's football. It's not the end of the world. Try your best when you're on the field. Absolutely try your best to win. But if you don't win, you can't do anything about it then, so you just move on. It's not that easy. Of course it's not. You'll be sad for a couple of days. You'll be looking back at shots where you think, oh, I could have scored that. Would that have made the difference? Could we have done this differently? Could you have done that differently? But to me, that's just kind of should be the same in every game. It shouldn't be in the games that you lose or you win, or it should be in every game. You should be looking to see can you get better, and that's where it is.
Since you're no longer playing at inter-county level, what's your personal goal for the next football season with Ballahidrine?
Yeah, so we've a really good team with the club. We've really good players. Where that's going to find me, I don't know. I'm definitely going to play, but I might do a bit of coaching with that as well with the club. I suppose your goal is to make sure we get a tiny bit better and try to win a county title. But if that, again, we just mightn't be at that level yet, but we'll definitely try our best. I suppose what I've done since we finished playing county football, I'm gone in now with the under-20s. I'm gone in as coach with them. So at the minute now in the short term, that's kind of my main goal, try to find players for that. And we've trials this week, so that's my main kind of focus at the minute. But with the club, we've a really good team, and my aim is to try to get as many lads from Balladreen playing for me as I can.
Thank you. Since you've been club and inter-county level for a long time now, how do you feel the game has developed and changed since you started playing football till now?
Yeah, I think the game has changed more probably since 2015, 16 than it had for the previous 13 years I played. I think tactically it's gone way better. I think in terms of skill level it's gone way higher. The game's got faster. I think it's a way smarter game. I think what people are missing out on, I suppose, the people that don't think it's got better, I think there's new skills now in the game that were never there before. So I think it's kind of changed in that regard. The role of the goalkeeper, the role of the cornerback not being able to kick the ball is gone. Yeah, every player on the field has to be skillful. I think it's an amazing game at the minute, and I think it's going to change even. I think it's going to change even greater over the future. In terms of players being better or worse or anything like that, I don't agree with that. I think the game and the rules and the fitness levels and the time going into it is just way greater than it was before. And I think Dublin deserve a huge amount of credit for, even though they're dominating in the minute. But I think teams now like Kerry, ourselves, Tyrone, Donegal, and the teams coming behind them have really upped their levels. And I think over the next 5 years it's going to be a really exciting championship.
The GAA for the last few years have been trialling new rules, like example the mark, to bring into Gaelic football to enhance the game as it has been enhancing. Do you think there's a need for these new rules, and if so, what ones do you think you should keep, or what new one would you put in yourself?
Yeah, I do. I wouldn't fully. I agree that the game should always be evolving and it should be moving on. But I don't agree with the way they're trying to implement the rules and try to force them in. I think if I'm being honest, I think it's silly. Like the sin bin coming in is fine, but then you have the club level where I don't think it's going to work because it's way too much work for one referee to be able to control all that. The mark, is it going to slow or quicken the game? I suggest it's probably going to slow down the game. The sin bin, for example, if you're in the last few minutes of a game and the team is coming running up the pitch and there's 3 minutes left on the clock, is the sin bin going to stop a guy from pulling down another guy? I don't think so. I think the rule that would work, and I think the rule that they should have brought in, was the 50-metre penalty. So any sign of cynical play, any trying to slow the play, you basically move the ball up 50 yards. So if you see what usually happens now, a team goes a point up and they start pulling everyone down, you do that, it moves from the goalkeeper spot right up to halfway, and then you've got a shot at goal. I don't think any team is going to pull someone down. So I think that would be a really good rule. I also think stealing the back pass rule from soccer would be huge, in terms of that if the goalie receives the ball, he needs to be in front of the cornerback, not behind him. That prevents you from kicking the ball back, which is going to quicken the game and move the ball forward a tiny bit. So I think there are two little slight changes that could, and I don't think they're dramatic changes. I think that have made a big difference, and I think the guys have probably made too many rules too quick and not thought enough about them.
Okay, thank you. What kept you playing Gaelic football at inter-county for so long, and how did you keep your standard of your game so high?
Yeah, it was pure luck, really. I think there was many times during when I was playing that I could have been dropped off the squad, just from not really performing, me personally, but the team not really performing either. So there was many times where I could have been dropped, got lucky, kept in there. I always thought I'd get better as I was getting older, because I always kind of used to try to learn the game and seeing where I kind of was moving. So I always thought I could do that. But a lot of it is luck. I got injured in 2011, broke my leg, hurt my other knee in 2012. So it was difficult. It was a difficult time to come back, but I kind of just got time, got my body right, and I always thought I had a decent head for the game. So there was bits and pieces like that, but like an awful lot of it is down to opinion and managers and do they like you and are they going to pick you? And I just got lucky at the right times.
Okay.
It wasn't as simple as that. I did my weights, kept myself in, I suppose, decent enough condition in terms of keeping myself fit. I'd be quite a confident fella too, so there was bits and pieces like that. So it was luck plus a bit of this, and if you keep yourself in shape, you've always got a chance of playing,
Okay. Since so many people look up to you as a GA inspiration, or someone they look up to in the game, who would you say was your GA inspiration when you were growing up, or even now?
Yeah, I often say we were the luckiest people ever to go up in Balladreen. We had 3 of the greatest coaches probably that ever were around in GA circles. So we had Brian Tanzio, I mentioned at under 10, was just a really good fella. We had a guy called John Gaffney, who's ended up being a Hall of Fame coach in handball, and we had a guy called John O'Mahony who won All Irelands with Galway. So I was very, very lucky and blessed in terms of I just grew up in that time at the right time, and we had really good people involved, because I had a big interest in it, but soccer was probably my first love in terms of games, but these guys just kept me on the straight and narrow. There was many times where I was probably going out too much, partying too much at times, and little things like that. So I would say they were 3 very big influences in my life, not even my football, just in my life. In terms of football inspirations, I had a lot of forwards who I'd look up to. Like Porrick Joyce, Ollie Murphy, these guys who I loved going through. But no, I've always kind of been fascinated with kind of Mayo people. I've often said we're a bit mad, but I mean that in a good way, where we're, I think we always kind of, in a strange way, look out for each other. And the GA just kind of provides an outlet for Mayo people to get together every year. So I kind of just love that, and that's probably been my biggest inspiration kind of all the way through. And then you add in my wife and my 2 kids, and I've just been extremely kind of lucky all my life. Geez, I have to mention my mother there too. Mum brought me everywhere. She was the one that kind of drove us. She was a driven kind of person, and she brought us everywhere, so she'd have been a big person in my life as well.
Okay, since you're no longer playing in the county, what will you miss most about playing for Mayo, and what was one of your favourite best memories for playing for Mayo over the years? Yeah,
I miss the lads. Just the general kind of crack that you'd have. You all come to the games and you support them and all this, and you've all opinions on who should be playing and who shouldn't be playing. We kind of know what's happening, so we've always that inside track. That's what I'll miss. I'll miss not knowing the crack that's going on within the camp, and that to me will be a big miss. Will I miss the training? I'll definitely miss competing, but I was never too really gone on the running side of the game and stuff like that. Will I miss the body fat scans and all that? I won't miss any of that, but I'll definitely miss the crack in the dressing room and the fun we had with the supporters over the years. What's my biggest memory? We won a Connacht title in 2009 against Galway. Played wing back in the day. Pather kicked the last point, Pather Gardner, which is just a standout. I suppose the game against Dublin in 2006 when Kieran Mack scored the winning point. There's a few bits and pieces like that. 2011, so this great team that's been here for the decade. 2011 we bet Galway, we bet Cork in the All-Ireland quarter-final, and I think that was the moment the whole thing turned, and all of a sudden we got belief that we could go on and challenge for All-Ireland. So great memories, absolutely brilliant memories, and we bet Kerry in 2017, which was brilliant for us as well. So that was great.
My phone just turned off. Sorry.
You're good?
As a player point of view, do you think county level GAA should remain an amateur sport, and do you think it would ever turn professional?
That's a 2-part question, but thanks for throwing it all in at once. I think it's going professional. I don't think there's any way to stop it. I think it's if you see what's happening, I suppose, in county board kind of levels in Mayo, Galway, other counties all around the country, I think the money coming into the game is just too much. And I think the administration side is going to go professional as of early this decade. I think 2020, 2021, you're going to see these professional structures going in. and then how you're going to hold players not to be professional after that, I think it's not going to happen. So I think it's only a matter of time. Would I like it to remain amateur? I would, but not in its current form. Like it's too much to ask people. It's like we genuinely bear a small bit in pieces from the GPA. We get no support from anyone, and we come from one of the best counties. Like we come from Mayo, which is one of the biggest populations. Usually no problem with funding. If you need something, you usually get it. But like we literally get no support from anyone in terms of players. And I think the younger generation, your generation, I don't think are going to stand for that. So I think it's going to go professional, and I don't think there's any way at this point to stop it. Would I like it to stay amateur? Yes, I would. But I think it's probably gone too far.
And I have one last question for you. If you could put a definition on this, it's okay if you can't, but what does the GAA mean to you?
I think it's just a sense of place. We haven't won the All Ireland since 1951, but I think Mayo Football County is we're privileged to be part of it. It's do I think we could do more to help ourselves? I do, but I think it's just it's lovely to have that identity no matter where you go. When you see the Mayo jersey, you see I see the red and green anywhere. It might even be a Mayo flag. I kind of be wondering where they're from. So I think it's a lovely sense of identity. I love having a sense of place from Mayo, from Balladreen. Love my club, and it's I suppose what you'd call it a family kind of more so than anything. The GAA outside of Mayo, listen, it is what it is. You know, I love this side of the country. I'm going to spend the rest of my life between Balladreen and hopefully Castlebar, and listen, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, thank you for me interviewing. I just want to say thank you as a Mayo supporter for the years of what you dedicated to us and what you played.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I hope that was worth it.